started early tonight, Will, weren't you? Barely even live. I've got to update the thing already, ain't I? You have no idea, chat, how close I was to making tonight a painting stream. Is it going to carry on? It stopped at 13, 14. There we go. Okay, we're good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this autumnal Wednesday here in the south of the UK, where I have... This morning we did some admin and stuff, and this afternoon I spent the whole afternoon painting. More of it. What the fuck? Thank you so much, Will Stewart. I'll let her finish yawning. Hang on. Thank you so much, Will Stewart, for the 20 gifted memberships.
Will, I hope for you that if you ever need to use a bus, you end up getting on so early that you have yourself a lovely chit-chat with the driver.
Not to get too political, but
Not
what the
touching
fuck America.
Thank you for the 10, Will. I'll find you. I'll find you more gifted memberships. Not touching it. Not touching it.
I need to get pen and paper.
Pen and paper.
Yeah.
These two parts of a hat trick now. Cheers.
Oh my god. Oh, what's this?
Just a quick like and hi. We'll have to catch up after stream. Work and shit. Thank you so much, Will, for the 20 gifted. Not touching that nonsense, but thank you for the $10 anyway. Anyone who mentions politics in America is immediately fined 5 gifted memberships. Are we in agreement? We're not touching it. We're here to talk about toy soldiers and have fun. I think that's what we'll do. Right? I think it's the safest. Will, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Paid is fine. I'm
He's
into it.
a man who pays his fines.
Yep, I'm into it. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for the 5 gifted. You're a legend. Oh God, I'll take my tracker again. Ah. Which quarter were there, chat? Can we hit the whole total in 10 minutes? Can we chill out for the night? That'd be great, wouldn't it?
That's what happened to me today anyway.
Today's topic was that, oh, you got on the bus so early, what?
Well, I had a chit-chat with the driver for 12 minutes.
Oh, specifically 12 minutes?
Exactly 12 minutes, because he likes to stay on time.
Oh. Okay. Cookies, thank you. Cookies, how's it going, dude? Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Has that meet-up in London been arranged yet? In London town. Chris was going to square it away. I don't know if he has bothered. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Oh, I'll take my tracker again. Fucking hell, chat. If you could just all do it at the same time, that'd be great. Thank you, Cookies. You're a legend. Hero and a legend. So today's topic was inspired actually by something that Mr. the Rambo put in chat the other day as a super chat. And I talked about it for a couple of minutes. And I was like, this is actually an interesting topic about the game of Warhammer 40k. Because there's this rhetoric that exists at the moment. There's a story being told out there by some people in the social media space that Warhammer 40k is ruined by creators and influencers that sell, promote, publish content around how to take the best unit, how to optimize, how to be the best, how to win games, how to beat your opponent, how to make sure you don't lose with this army, what's the best list, what's the best unit, what's the tier. And although I don't necessarily think that content helps, what I will say is, the point I want to make about this is that content only exists because there's people looking for it. Right? It's as simple as this. If people don't look for that content, moreover, if people don't watch that content, then no one's going to create that content because it doesn't make any sense to make that content. Okay? So the only reason why that content really exists is because people go out there, search for it, and go looking for it. And then when they find it, they watch it. I've seen too many friendly groups or local gaming scenes or local clubs that end up devolving into an arms race with people just trying to smash each other to bits. I feel like for wargaming in general, there is a requirement, a social contract, I guess, between the players to self-police. Right? I think it makes sense that because of the instabilities of a game like Warhammer 40k, because of the things that can exist within Warhammer 40k, the players themselves need to sort of self-police and enjoy their game and maybe not take the latest list that won LGT or LVO or Adepticon, whatever. Maybe not try and power it up to 100%.
Everyone has heard of Karl Marx, but few know about his sister, Anya. She was an Olympic runner who passed away during an event, so in respect her name is said at the start of every race. Anya Marx.
Loses a face, right, when she's listening until the end, and then it's just a disappointing shake. Just, oh, for fuck's sake, Stu. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's been some unnecessary, I wouldn't say there's unnecessary hatred necessarily, actually, to be fair. But I feel like people often need to perhaps stop and realise that one of the biggest problems in wargaming in general, this actually can be applied to wider than just Warhammer, and Warhammer 40k specifically, is players. If something is broken and you choose to take it, then you're encouraging dickery, right? You're encouraging nonsense play. If something is broken and you come to the table and you go, this is the thing that's broken, I'm not going to run it because it's fucking busted, this is stupid, then I feel like you're playing in a better spirit. You're playing in the spirit that I would argue wargaming is intended. Warhammer 40k, although 10th edition is built as a tournament edition, it was never necessarily intended to be a tournament game. Warhammer 40k was intended to be a war game where you could tell stories on the tabletop. If you think about how it started in Rogue Trader originally, before we moved into the actual versions of Warhammer 40k now, it was never intended to be hyper competitive. It was always intended to tell a story, to spin a narrative, for two players to enjoy. That's what it was intended for. So when a combination comes out that the rules people there may have overlooked or may have not got quite right, and don't get me wrong, sometimes they don't do a good job. But when a combination comes out that the rules writers haven't quite got right, and people choose to exploit and abuse that immediately, that's a player problem, I think. Counterpoint, people abuse exploits across everything. Agree, 100%. Fixing the system would significantly improve player behaviour. So I do agree with that one, Jalo-san, but I would argue that the scope and scale of Warhammer 40k, it's almost impossible to get it perfectly right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's other systems that are equally sized that do a good job of getting it right. But I feel like I'd rather have a few mishits and have a fun, enjoyable game. And do you know what part of this comes from as well, right? I'll be honest with you, straight up. Part of this also comes from my experience recently with Age of Sigmar, okay? Age of Sigmar 4th edition is potentially one of the best rule sets GW has ever made from a balance perspective, okay? Nothing's really broken. You struggle to find any interaction that you can't find an explanation for in the rule somewhere, or whereby you can't follow a logical process and work it out, okay? Everything's perfectly even-ish. You play games, very rarely does it feel like someone's running away with it, and I feel like I've got bored of it already. I feel like it's boring now.
It's like every hobby game, you get to talk with your opponent about what level of fucked you both wanna be.
I agree. Thanks, Stu. Thanks, Will, sorry, for the 5. Also, Stu Will, thank you for the 5 gifted. You're a legend. Harry, thank you for the 1 gifted. And Kai, thank you for the 5 gifted. Fucking hell, chat. We're flying. Nearly halfway, 10 minutes in. Thank you so much, dude. So I'm really torn on that one, to be honest. I think that I don't necessarily disagree with you about fixing the system. This definitely helps, but I honestly think that Age of Sigmar, for me personally, and Joe's really upset about this. We're not stopping it for reference, by the way. But Age of Sigmar, for me personally, at the moment, is a bit dull. Like, it's a little bit not interesting, and I think part of that is because it's so perfectly balanced. And this is a weird thing to be saying, because I've been someone who's complained about balance for ages. But sometimes when you get to perfectly balanced, you get to boring, sort of. And there's very rare occasions where that hasn't been the case. So, chess is, for a lot of people, not boring and relatively well balanced. I don't know, it's a weird one. It's a very strange one. However, what I'd love tonight is to hear your views on big colourful postcards, so Brian reads it out to us and we can discuss it. Because as always, when I bring up a topic on the streams, it's not a, here's my opinion, you should all think like me. I'm very, very open to the discussion. If you could put across your points in an adult way, or with stupid dad jokes like Stu, then I shall listen and we shall have that discussion. But I think that often with a lot of these games, I think that, I've been thinking about this a lot, taking to the point that was made about fixing the game. Who was it who said it? Hang on, I need to find the comment. What Shadowson said, counterpoint, people abuse exploits across everything. I completely agree with you. But what I'm saying is, at that point, I think people are the problem. It's been my experience with games like Call of Duty. There's an exploit, person abuses exploit for advantage. Now, people would argue, just don't have the exploit in the first place. Okay, it's a fair point. It is a fair point, but I still think if the people just don't abuse the exploit in the first place, I don't know. I think here we go. I'm not paying a 5 gifted fine for this, but relevant today. People are arseholes. Hey, hi, Lord Harry, how's it going, dude? The original 2019 Modern Warfare was the best example, provided a game so bustedly broken it auto balances itself and becomes very fun. Interesting. Some FAQs they release make me cringe at people who abuse the rules in that way that was clearly not intended. 100% Xenos Chris. 100%. I've had a pretty shit day, and to be honest, and your marks made me laugh. That's what Stu's here for. That's what he's here for. Did you ever play games at school or college or whatever, and someone just abused it, and you were like, why? Did you ever do? I mean, I'm.
What kind of games?
I don't know. Because I feel like this is an experience I've had throughout life, but I feel like it's got worse in recent years. Cheaters have always existed, but I feel like it's got worse. I feel like because society to some extent has gone, everyone wins all the time. The second someone's not winning, they're like, I'm not winning.
Yeah, we don't do the whole participation medal.
No,
do
we don't. No, but I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if you've ever had it in your. Because I mean, I've played sports. I've played rugby, football. We did field goal. People cheat all the fucking time in all of those sports.
I guess playing with the neighbourhood kids. Those.
Balance is good for the game in general, also pushing to be as good as possible is fine. The issue is when a beer and pretzel player comes up against a comp player and they have different expectations, leads to a fucking.
I think the different expectations is pretty key there as well. The majority of people probably play games for fun. Whether it's Call of Duty, Warhammer, what do you play? Mario.
I think when I used to play with the neighbourhood kids when I was really little, probably about Ben's age, so maybe 7, if there were kids that were contorting the rules, it kind of got sorted out amongst the kids.
That's interesting.
And kids are
self-policed.
quite brutal.
It is fun to see if you find a glitch that breaks the game though. But I am sort of a sadist when it comes to competitive games.
Interesting. I think self-policing is interesting, which is what communities used to do quite a lot as well. GW, in 10th edition 40k, GW have come in quite heavy-handed with the policing. So Carl's put it in there, like, it's so bad, Games Workshop had to put the definition of a round, oval and square base to clarify. It's in one of their rules documents at the moment. What is a round base? What is an oval base? What is a square base, etc. Right? So I feel like to some extent GW have over-nannied this now. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like here's a thing I think should happen, right? There's a couple of rules exploits that have come in because people have been fucking arseholes, right? I can't remember any of them off, like major ones off the top of my head. But there's a couple of things that have happened where people were just being dickheads. And GW have gone, here's a ruling. Which a lot of people are going to say right now in chat, yeah, it's good that they do that. It's good that they give a ruling. But I think that the community should be such that they go, fuck off, dickhead. Not a chance. No way. That's my opinion.
We would always have things like, if we were playing British Bulldog or Sardines or Tracker, things like that, it would usually be one of the younger kids because they just can't keep up. And young kids are criminal masterminds in the making. So you have to nip it in the bud. But it would be the older kids. They would just kind of apply pressure that would, in a way, force the better behaviour out.
Yeah.
Of, well, we just won't play then. if
Yeah.
you can't play it, we won't play it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not invited to play the next game. And now I'm the adult of kids in a playground. I do think to myself, sometimes, in certain times, kids policing themselves is possibly better, because the peer pressure of it, and then the kind of group... what am I trying to say? Because kids aren't filtered, they just come out with it. I guess in their own wonderful ways, they kind of cut through the bullshit of discipline.
Yeah. I think social conditioning's gone.
Yeah.
Or not gone. It hasn't developed necessarily yet to a point.
But it's always handy being there in earshot, just in case if it does get a bit like, oh, guys, you're being a bit much now.
Yeah.
They got it. They're fine. Play another game.
Will says, I tried to play Magic the Gathering Commander a few days ago. We all wanted to just have a fun night. One guy except who crushed all three of us in 5 turns. Like, what's the point then? Well, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, messaged me recently and said that he'd bought his missus some Pokemon cards, and he'd forgot about the thrill of opening card packs, right? Because it's what we used to do as kids, opening Pokemon cards. And I said, oh, it's still a hit, because I've got a bunch of Magic the Gathering Commander decks. I've got, I think, all of the 40k ones, a couple of the Lord of the Rings ones. I really love Magic cards. They've got beautiful artwork on them. And I started to learn to play Magic over in California with Titans, specifically Commander, actually. Funny old thing. Anyway, so I was chatting to my friend about this. And he said, yeah. I said, he said something about, he said, I've always been tempted to get into Magic. I said, I've played Magic. I've got Magic decks. He went, really? What do you think of it? I was like, it very much depends on who you're playing against. And he said, oh, okay. How do you mean? I was like, if you're playing against people who are understanding of your level, aware of your level, want you to learn and to have fun, and will play at your level, it can be a fantastically fun game. I very much enjoy casual games of Magic with people that are playing casual games of Magic. So we used to use the pre-built decks for Commander. We wouldn't build them ourselves, etc. Sit down, play a deck. Much, much, much easier, right? And then you get that one player, like you've just described, who he gets told that we're playing 5 people and 3 people or 2 people have never played before, or one person's never played before, and he comes with his deck that he built himself that is powered to 1 million, and he turns up, tables everyone in 5 turns, and goes, cool, I win. Like, good, I learnt nothing. I have no idea what happened.
So then, wouldn't you all sit around the table and then do the whole peer pressure thing of, mate, if you're just going to keep doing that,
well, I mean,
we're not going to deal you in?
My personal experience was I had no idea what the fuck was going on until it was too late. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, it's done. Oh, I had no idea what was happening there. Because the thing is Magic, so in very basic terms, Magic, you have a health characteristic, right? Every player has a health characteristic. 20 health points, I think it is, in Commander. And then you have a bunch of cards, and you cast the cards. You're like a wizard. You're casting your spells out there, and your spells can attack each other. And if you've got no spells that can defend, the spells that are attacking take your health off.
That makes sense.
Okay. And so what can often happen in things like Magic is people can start building combos, and you don't know what's going on. And there's like spells that will bypass your spells and just take your health. And there's spells that will do this, and there's artifacts, and it's a very complex game. And people can build these combos and then go, bang, everyone's dead.
Oh, that's fun.
How does that work? Well, because that does that, does that, does that, does that, just buff that ignores that does that, and then it takes all your health off. Oh. Good. So glad I got to play this game.
So then why do you keep inviting that guy back?
Oh, well, I didn't. I haven't. I've not played with that guy again, and I won't.
There you go. So the self-policing kind of works.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of. FYI, Magic is a good game. But I think this applies to. I think it applies to 40k. I think it applies to video games. I think it probably applies to AOS. It probably applies to Monopoly. It probably applies to chess. It's a great game if you're playing the right kind of opponent.
I also think that actually the self-policing thing is really useful for another reason. You can't hide from the upset your actions have caused because kids don't hide it yet.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
So if there's a group of kids and one of them is bending the rules so that they either always win or they can't get tagged out or they can't do this, no, you didn't get me, any of that, when the other kids start to get upset, and however that looks, tears, temper, however that looks, there's no hiding from it because kids are unfiltered. So that kid has to sit there and watch all of their friends walk off because of their own actions. Mum's not going to save the situation because mum's not there. Dad's not going to save it because dad's probably watching it happen and going, no, that's your consequence. You can sit in that shame for now. There's no hiding from the raw emotion of your friends.
Yeah, I get that. And then almost that kind of natural shame, potentially.
And shame is so useful. It's like an ugly jacket. You don't want to wear it, but that's your jacket. You did that.
Yeah,
That's your shame.
Put
it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I was saying, chat, I've got my theories behind it. Like I think that if we sit on the fence, on the side of the fence that says Games Workshop should just release a perfect game, well, I mean, let's look at the evidence. Magic's not a perfect game. 40k is not a perfect game. Heresy's not a perfect game. Call of Duty's not a perfect game. Fortnite's not a perfect game. If we sit on the fence that they got to release a perfect game and it'll be fine, it's just not going to happen, is it? To be honest.
Money is now involved. Paid coaches, selling services to help players learn to find the broken combos, and with easy access to top lists, mid-level players think they should be at the top and become WACY. I only play narrative.
95 Ginger Age, thank you for the $20. So here's my point though, right? I agree with everything you've said. In essence, I agree with everything you said. Paid coaches selling services to help players learn to find the broken combos with easy access to top lists. Mid players think they should be at the top and become win at all costs. But who's the problem in all of what you've just said there? Who's the problem, even in paid coaches selling services to help players learn to find the broken combos? Who's the problem there? Who really is the issue in that particular instance?
Both of them are.
Who's the bigger issue? I think there is a bigger issue in that instance.
I think both of them are.
I don't think I agree.
As adults, we have an obligation to play in the spirit that is intended. And if you don't have a moral compass strong enough to stay away from a coach that's selling how to cheat at something, then that's also your fault.
But he's not necessarily selling how to cheat. He's just trying to sell you how to play better at the game. But I think the issue there is the person paying for the coaching. I don't think it's the coach. The coach is providing a service that therefore is required because people are prepared to pay.
No, I think both sides should have a moral compass on it.
But the bottom line is, if no one was prepared to pay for any coaching to get better at a dice rolling game, coaches don't exist.
Yeah, but where's the person to go, mate, you're quite shit at this, so let's find you something you're not so shit
at. Nonetheless, if no one was prepared to pay for coaching, then coaching wouldn't exist. That solves that problem. So the players are more at fault.
I think it needs breaking down into its own little lanes.
Devil's advocate, be careful though, as you're encouraging kids to tone down and not try their best to win for fear of hurting others' feelings. I don't.
No, that's not what I'm getting
environment, though, Kev. I think, mate. I think environment's key. If I'm putting my kid into a competition in martial arts, then he's going into a competition. He's absolutely being told to do his best. If I'm sitting my kid down to play, I don't fucking know. What's a game that kids could play that they might be able to be dicks at with each other?
You name it. They have a talent for finding loopholes.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like if I'm sitting down with his friends to play a game on the computer, and I'm like, don't be a dick if your friend doesn't really know what he's doing.
Okay, so we had this. It was Jedi Fallen Order or something.
That's not a two-player game, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there a Star Wars one that is two-player?
Battlefront 2.
Maybe it was that one then.
So one of them had lots of experience and time playing the game, and one of them hadn't had very much experience of time playing the game at all. So which means one can just go, I could be a dicker and win all the time.
I'm also going to add something to this. One of the children doesn't have a sibling in the house, so they don't lose. They don't have to learn to lose. They just turn the computer off or reset and get to go again. So they've never learned to sit on the loser's bench.
People need to lose, yeah.
They've also
100%.
never learned how to encourage the sibling to do well and have another go and keep trying, keep practicing. So there again, it needs breaking down into different lanes. Why is somebody such a bad loser? Is there other things going on? Why are some people very, very good at losing and don't give a shit?
So what you are saying is the drug dealer is not to blame, it's all on the addict.
I didn't say that the coach wasn't to blame, did I? I said who was the bigger problem. Don't twist words. I said, who was the bigger problem in that circumstance? The bigger problem is the person prepared to pay. If you look into the drug dealing world, if you want to go to the extremes of things like drug dealing and prostitution, it could arguably be said that if 0 people were prepared to pay for any of those services wouldn't exist. That can be argued. If no person in the world was prepared to ever pay for drugs, guess what? No one will be selling them because no one's prepared to pay for them. That could be applied to that circumstance. If no one in the world was prepared to pay for a lady of horizontal persuasion, then no one will be selling that service because no one will be buying it. Supply and demand is a basic principle of life. If there is a demand, people will supply it.
Babe,
that's a fact.
You're shouting.
But it's true, though. But it is true.
You don't need to shout. You've got a microphone.
But it's true, though. It's true. But it is true, ultimately. Now, we can't apply a 40k pay to learn versus pay to or pay me to teach you service. We can't apply that logic to things like those extremes. I hate when people use those arguments. They go straight to an extreme, prove you wrong. No, that's not how that works. The drug network, for example, is a significantly more complex thing. If you've read certain literature, like as you have, for example, Good Cop, Bad War, then you'll realise how complex that circumstance is.
Genuinely, that book is incredible.
And
I've read it 2 or 3 times.
We're then
now.
encroaching on a thing that includes severe addiction. Winning at Warhammer is not a severe addiction. It's very different. We have people in Guy's example. We have people preying on the fact that people have severe addiction. Warhammer 40k coaches aren't preying on the fact that people have severe addiction. It's very different. In terms of the Warhammer space, or even Call of Duty or any of these other spaces we've spoken about, it's very much about the environment that you're taking part in. If you're going to the LGT, to some extent, you expect people to be bringing strong and powerful armies and lists. You do, because you're going to the LGT, which is a big tournament. If you're going down your local gaming store and asking a person, do you fancy a friendly game? I'd expect him not to bring the biggest, strongest thing he has.
Whoop Liam for president. He wants to legalise drugs and women at the horizontal persuasion.
I mean, it'll get me votes, Kai, right? I know, I'm glad I got your support, Kai.
But GW makes the plastic cracks, so without them the problem wouldn't exist.
I mean, not entirely true, because there's other companies that make war games, right? We just apply it to Warhammer 40k because that's the one that we love the most. It's Games Workshop that is preying on the addiction. Addiction, it is, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I still think that in my experience, I've played editions properly played, as in using the actual rules GW have published. I've probably played 5th through to 10th, 5 editions of the game. Well, I actually played 5th, so 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 6 editions of the game, right? I've played 6 editions of Warhammer 40k. I have, in every edition, had great experiences, had incredibly fun experiences, and had some terrible experiences. Now, I will hold my hands up when I say the players are the problem, the players are what really ruins Warhammer. I will hold my hands up and say that those bad and negative experiences are incredibly rare and uncommon. And as with everything in life, you can have the LGT, and you can have 500 to 1,000 players at the LGT, and they'll all be playing 6 games. If you think about how many games that means is played.
The paying player is more the issue. Most professional coaches seem cool, but players think that coaching alone should make them great, not realizing that those coaches are the best because of how much they play plus knowledge.
I agree with you. Thanks, 95 Ginger Age, by the way, for the 5 gifted earlier, if I said that. I forgot to update my tracker. We're on 46 chat. Nearly halfway there. Whoa.
Hamster on the stairs.
Hamster on the stairs this time. Hamster on the stairs. So I think that every single edition I've had, I've played a bad game. Like I say, we look at LGT, right? We have 500 players, 1,000 players, whatever. Every single person playing minimum 5 to 6 games over the weekend. How many games are being played at that point?
God, it's such a heavy weekend.
If you have 500 players and they're all playing 5 games, well, let's limit it down. We have 500 players playing 5 games over a weekend, right? For round 1's 250 games, which means we've got 1,250 games being played over a weekend. And then you listen to across the players, right? Across all players, okay? And then there might be 2 bad incidences across 1,250 games. And they're the ones you hear about. They're the ones. They are the ones you hear about. They're the,
Yeah,
and
but
so
that's-
that means you might have had 1,245 games that have all gone swimmingly and people have had a great time.
Yeah, but that's because our brains like bad news more than good news.
Oh, absolutely they do. Yeah, they're addicted to it almost.
So we're predisposed then.
Yeah, you are. But what I'm saying is, those players that are creating that bad experience are actually the rarity, thankfully.
Most nights you will catch me snorting sprue Gundam UGW.
So good though, Kai, right? It's so good. Anywho, we're 4 members away from halfway, chat, and we're half an hour in. Have you...
Yeah.
Are you ready for it? Ba 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 bum bum ba bum.
Artisan cheese seller in a pickle after thieves made off with massive cheddar haul.
Artisan cheese seller?
Was it you?
No.
Did you steal the cheese?
No.
An artisan cheese seller in a pickle.
In a pickle.
I love this headline.
Yeah. When does it come from? Like how long ago?
Well, I obviously can't do any from today.
Fuck that noise. No.
Yeah.
Let's avoid that one. Let's have some good. Let's have some funny news.
This one is from October 26th. Not too long ago.
I mean, it's okay. It's reasonable. So go on. Give us a story.
So, clear my throat. Neal's Yard Dairy said a con artist posing as a wholesale distributor for a major French retailer had made off with 22 metric tons of award-winning cheddar worth 300,000 British pounds before the company realised it had been scammed.
How do you make off with 22 tons of cheese?
I wonder if he diverted the delivery.
Do you reckon it was like just 5 big mice stood on top of each other in a trench coat?
It was the most elaborate Tom and Jerry
Yeah.
scene ever.
Oh my lord. 22 metric tons of cheese.
Nearly 1,000 wheels of cloth-wrapped cheese from 3 makers have gone missing.
Missing? Unbelievable. Where did this happen?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, in America land.
Oh wait, no, that's the picture. Oh, they've used a different picture? Ugh.
Wait, I thought 40k coaches were the best because they help develop the rules so they get the inside track on how to be a gamey twat.
All I know is it's got detectives at Scotland Yard.
I don't think that can be true, Rambo, because GW FAQ and changed the rules so fucking quickly that I don't think that's true for the coaches, to be fair. Well, I haven't been hearting comments. Let's catch up a bit. Cheap cheddar down the local market next week. Yeah, 100% High Lord of Terror. Someone get High Lord of Terror membership, by the way. He's been here loads. And I bump into him in gaming streams. Someone get him a membership. We're 4 away from halfway. I reckon if we get to the target, someone will have got him with a membership.
It doesn't say where. It just said it's Neal's Yard.
Nobody with one of the greatest jokes of all time. It was easy to track down the thief, though. He left debris everywhere. That's fucking great. UK, I heard it on the radio the other day. Oh, really? It's that recent?
Yeah, it's only 26, so...
How did that happen? How did someone actually manage to get away with 300 grams of cheese?
Well, I guess if you pose as a wholesaler, then you go maybe like store to store and ask to speak to the manager. Or you call them up.
As a competitive game, for example, Magic the Gathering has a massive rule set that even has specific rulings for individual card-based interactions with other specific cards. Warhammer has new rules every 3 years. Yeah, the rules... The thing is, I think the rules frequency is never going to help this situation. To be honest with you, thank you, Whitey55, for the 1 gifted. I can't have one branded. You shouldn't have written those 2 comments in there and then wrote exclamation marks like me. You should just keep your mouth shut, High Lord of Terror, right? And we could have got everyone to try and gift you a membership all night. I would have ended up with 400 memberships. Everyone would be happy. Everyone would be happy. All right? You had to gob off and say you're a branded account. You can't have one. Anyway, thank you so much, Whitey, for the 1 gifted. You're a legend.
I cannot bear it any longer. I cannot bear it any longer.
Lou seems to know a lot about stealing cheese. I know, yeah. How much cheese? Yeah, a lot of cheese. Lots of cheese.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Oh, love it. Oh. This is my last bottle of sour cherry. I need to get hold of Nidhogger. I'm like, me delivery. It's time. Cheese puns, by the way. On point, chat. I'm a fan of your work. Big fan of your work. I'm still looking for more people, though, to chuck me postcards about what they think about this, because I don't think anyone's swayed me so far to say that the players aren't the biggest problem. And by the way, let's clarify as well. In all of our situations and our scenarios, I'm not saying they are the only problem. Anything, that game that leaves itself open to exploit, i.e. COD, i.e. 40k, i.e. Monopoly, any game that leaves itself open to exploitation, someone somewhere is going to exploit it. But why? Because people are arseholes, which goes back to it being the player. And I reckon I can almost always route it back to the player somehow, which is why I think that they're the biggest problem. Convince me otherwise, people. And what's it trying to? Hit the like button for me. Oh, that's too nice tonight. There's an alarm in the morning as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Ugh. I need to rest my eyes, to be fair. I got sore eyes. Look, chat. Look. Today, painting this guy. Look at that. Very busy little bee today. Very busy little bee. Our cheese puns are on cheese points. What is Monopoly?
What's Monopoly?
He knows. He knows.
Oh.
He's being a knob.
I wouldn't even begin to know how to explain it because it's like a tabletop punch-up.
It's, yeah. It's the game that divides families.
It does. It starts divorces.
I don't like most people, so fuck them. You and me both, brother. I have come to realise in my adult life that people are in fact arseholes. The world's problems developed by people.
Well, we all knew that.
Exactly. So, people are always the problem. The result... No, not talking about it! Lee, we're fining people 5 gifted memberships for everyone who mentions anything that goes on over in America. I'm not talking about it. This is a happy place, whilst we just criticise 40k players rather than... What we do need to do, what I need to do for my own health right now, is I need to get Joe a win in 40k. But I need to get him a win in 40k that he thinks is a him win in 40k, so that he can be like, I'm having fun again. Because happy Joe is much more fun to be around in 40k than miserable Joe.
Kai's saying he don't know.
He's lying. He's lying.
Yes, I struggle to see how a financial advisor has never heard of Monopoly.
A person is smart, people are dumb. Fair. I've watched today the rematch game between Joe and Paddy. Epic. It was good, wasn't it? It was good. Oh, I'm just taking this watch off. It's annoying my wrist. Ugh, that's better. Yeah, we need to get Joe. I need to get Joe in. So I think I need to play him soon, and then be like, oh no, I lost.
I know what would cheer Joe up.
A reach around.
You should play Warhammer Pass the Parcel.
No. It's not about how do I make Joe happy. It's about how do I get him to enjoy Warhammer 40k again.
But that would make Joe happy.
Because that's not what it's about. It's about how do we get him...
Pass the Parcel.
That's not what it's about, Liz.
How much of your Eldar list is there left to get battle ready?
Loads.
Last few streams have inspired me to pick the brush back up, smiling face.
So today... Thanks, Farmer George, by the way, for the 5. I'm glad. So today, we basically layered up all the red and all of the Wraithguard, tabards, shoulder pads, and shields. A little bit of tweaking left to do.
More 40k players at comps should try whack. Wash at all costs.
Preach, Shay. So I need to do a little bit more tidying up of the ones we put the wash on yesterday. Then I need to tidy up all of the bone weapons, which is probably a Sunday afternoon job. And then I need to do some loose highlighting around the head area. Sounds silly, right? But to be able to get them to battle ready, I need to glue the heads on. So if you think about this guy here, for example, right? To get battle ready, I need to glue his head on. And the only way I can actually do that, really, is if I do the highlighting around the back of his neck before I stick his head on. Because once his head's on, it will block that area. Okay, so I need to do some highlighting in one specific area that's above and beyond what I'm doing for battle ready, just because I'm then going to block it. Dry brush, wash the base, dry brush the base again, paint the rims. Once that's done and the heads are stuck on, that's the 10 Wraith Guard done. Okay, this guy, base, maybe some slight highlights, head, battle ready. Okay, this guy, washes, some highlights, the base has been started already, helmet, okay, cool. 2 Warlocks and a Spirit Seer. Then I've got the 2 Wraith Knights to do that are airbrush already. And then at the moment, if I take the current list, I've got 15 Banshees and Jane Zara to do. Which sounds awful, but in this new scheme, I don't think it'll be that bad. I don't think it'll be that bad at all.
Guess what I thought about doing today?
What?
Replacing my chair. How does it go up and down? Is it air that goes up
Exclamation mark chair. No, it's a spring.
The spring. It's starting to stick.
It's a very old chair.
It's done well. Bessie has done well.
It's like an over 10-year-old chair.
But I think it might be time soon. I feel like a traitor.
I've been waiting for this moment. Do you know what sort of chair you want?
No.
Exclamation mark chair.
Chair's a chair, isn't it?
No.
Because I was even thinking about just bringing one of the dining room chairs in
No,
here.
fuck no.
Because I'm only sitting on it for like an hour and a half.
No.
Is that a no?
No. I was looking to replace mine recently.
You don't need to.
No, I don't. Only because Secret Lab have just released a new version of their chair again. And I was like, is there a way I can justifiably replace my chair and find a place for this one? And the answer was categorically no. But I was like, I really want to, though. Because after I bought this one, which is now quite old, actually, after I bought this one, they brought out magnetic pillows, magnetic armrests, and now they've brought out their new hybrid Neo something, leatherette something dark side. And I was like, I want that. And they do it in an all black version. And I was like, I really want that. But I don't need it, and I don't have a reason to get rid of this one.
Good. So we conclude the conversation as, you don't need a new chair.
Well, I mean...
Nope.
Well, I mean... I could always take this one to work and find a use for it there.
Chair is a chair. Excuse me?
That fact is loose.
But I don't sit in it as long as you do. I move around for
I mean,
my
you
job.
sit in it quite a lot. Jenny's black hair and a red stripe, possibly Kai. You sit in it a lot, Luce.
Not really.
You fucking do, Luce.
Not really.
You do. I mean, you do.
Hour and a half on a Monday.
Bullshit.
Hour and a half on a Wednesday.
Bullshit. You've been in that chair already longer than an hour and a half today, and we're not even all the way through the stream. There's 45 minutes left. Hi, Lord of Terror. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for becoming a member. Oh, Lee, paid his 5 gifted fine. What a fucking hero.
He's a good man.
What a legend. Paid his 5 gifted fine. If you mention today's occurrences in America, you get 5 gifted fine. Thank you so much, dude. What a fucking legend. Thanks for playing the game as well, man. Too many people go, I'm not doing that. What a hero. Love you, Lee. We're over halfway there. Just 50 to go, chat, and we'll nail it. Whoa. Over halfway there. Whoa.
Hamster on the stairs.
You've done that one.
Do you know, Dad told me a story from the tombs of his childhood where he used to breed hamsters, and it started off as a couple of cages on the stairs. Didn't take long for the whole stairs to be covered in hamster cages because he didn't know how quick and how much they breed.
Breeding hamsters on the stairs is
breeding hamsters on the stairs. No, that needs to fit better.
Liam doesn't need a new chair, but Lucy needs a new chair. Well, she likes hand-me-downs, so she can just take this one so it's not wasted.
No, I don't. No. You're terrible at doing this, did you know?
What?
If I save up and wait and get myself something new, you get yourself something new very soon after.
Like when?
A lot of the time. Well, I've never thought to write that bullshit down, did I? But I just noticed it, that you do that. If I buy myself something like, I don't know, a new pair of trainers, a brand new Saints shirt turns up or something. Like, I don't even think you do it.
I have no idea what you bought yourself. I never pay any attention at all. I don't.
Right, banked. The next time I buy myself something, however insignificant, I bet you will not be able to help yourself. You will order yourself something.
Have you ever thought that it might not be related at all, and it might not all be about you? Have you ever thought I might just buy myself stuff?
Oh, I see. An idiot would give you that little credit, but someone who's lived with you forever.
Someone's got an issue.
Yeah, you. Thanks, Ray. Whoa! Luce needs a chair. No, that one doesn't fit either.
You have to put the Y on the end of your name, then it fits.
Oh, I hate my full name.
I know you do. I know you do.
Like it.
Why do you hate your full name?
Oh, I don't think it's me. It doesn't sound like... Chat, do you all like your names?
When I was
don't...
when I first went to when I was at college, and when I was at secondary school, and when I went to the army, no one used my first name.
Or is it Dempsey?
They used the abbreviated version of my surname.
Yeah.
They used the first 5 letters of my surname, and that was what I was called everywhere. Now, when you go to basic training, you're only called by your surname anyway. You're not called by your first name. You don't have a first name. You have a rank and a surname. And so, when I left the army, and I started going to workplaces outside of the army, and people started using my first name, I was like, ugh, this is horrible. What's this nonsense people are calling me? I didn't like it at all. Now I've got used to it.
Yeah, I don't... But I've never liked my full name. Never liked it. I just think it sounds really old. I don't like it.
How does it sound old? How does it sound old?
Because hardly anyone's called Lucy anymore.
If you were called Ermintrude, I'd be like, that sounds quite old.
No,
or
but
Doris.
Even the lovely old names, you can abbreviate to be really sweet. Like Evelyn is Evie or Eve. That's really sweet. Or Imogen is Immy. That's really sweet.
Doris.
Nobody calls people Doris
That's an old
anymore.
name.
Yeah, but people don't. That one's not really coming back round. Dotty. How sweet's that?
If I got top score in Space Invaders, I could plug my whole name in. Park it. Oh, my brilliant! I love it. Yeah, I only ever had I only was ever called Dempsey all the time. That was it, constantly. That's what I got used to be called. Brom still calls it now.
Yeah.
and it's so easy just to respond to it immediately. So, yeah, exclamation mark GIF. That's right, Gaz.
That's why I'm always like, when people go, "Oh, hi, Lucy," and I go, "No, really, it's Luce. That's fine. Just call me Luce, not Lucy." Thank
I don't know
you.
why you don't like it. I mean, it's weird. I find it weird to use it. I don't ever use it either. I never use Luce, to be fair.
You don't?
I do.
You do, yeah. I was
don't
going to
ever use
say.
anything. It's loose or pet names, some of which we can't say here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, John. Did we give John a wish?
Obviously.
He was dropping 50s in other places tonight.
I love you, John. Liam's, it's conditional love, but I will always love you.
John McCartney, thank you for 20 gifted memberships.
John, I hope for you that the next time you put a towels wash on, that you remember the water weight of the towels and you don't overload it, and then the washing machine doesn't tap dance across the kitchen floor because it's too heavy.
I'm into it.
That's what I hope for you.
Strong hope. Thank you, John, for the 20 gifted. We're nearly 3/4 of the way there. 2 away from 3/4 of the way, chat. Thanks, John. You're a legend.
See? Jorfin's just put JMC. That's like JMC. That could be cool. That could be like a cool name.
John McC.
John or JMC, John McC. That's still cool. That still sounds cool. Man. I feel like I was destined to be like the good girl and proper because my name. Girls named Roxanne are
Wait,
cool.
whoa. Let's
so
circle back around to
cool.
this a little minute. What did you just say then?
Like, you know when you hear people's names and they're proper just
You were
like,
destined to be the what?
the good girl and like
You
the
can
proper.
fuck off.
Yeah, I've never done drugs, not smoked, not really. I've never really done anything wrong. It's all in the name, you see. Give me a old name. ghastly. It's loose. I don't. No, I don't like Lucy. Don't like it.
Lucy is in fact her name.
No, I don't.
Legally,
Like
Gaz is like, why haven't you changed it yet? Well, because it's fucking effort, that, isn't it?
Because I don't want to upset my parents. Because like
they
they
be
choose.
upset?
I don't know, but it has biblical references, and I don't want to upset.
Does it?
Apparently, yeah.
I'm calling horse shit on that one.
I've never been forced into church, and I'm very grateful.
Excuse me.
But my dad went to church a lot. My mum's Catholic, so there's biblical stuff on there.
Kuiper, my daughter's name is Autumn. I deliberately chose a stripper name.
I think that's a really cool name.
Oh my god. I knew you was talking to me, motherfucker. Always, mate. Always. I'm always curious as to what's going on elsewhere, John. I'm always looking. Eyes everywhere. It's alright, long as we know who the favourite is. Lucy's preferred, always, yeah. I think that's almost all I've ever called you. I don't think I've ever called you Lucy, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think if I did, you'd be like, what's going on here? What prank's being played?
Yeah.
Where's Michael McIntyre?
What did I break?
Why is Michael McIntyre in the cupboard?
Why are you full naming me?
Who could forget the story of Warhammer Jesus and Lucy?
Honestly, I asked my mum years ago, I was like, what is up with this name? She was like, well, there's biblical references to it. Is there? And then my brother being called Luke, obviously there's biblical references
Yeah, but
in
our
that
eldest
one.
is called James, and it doesn't...
Yeah, but we don't have any religious backgrounds.
You can't claim that every name that was in the Bible has a biblical reference just because it was in the Bible once.
Right, I'm Googling it.
No, but yeah, Matthew.
No, deploy the Google.
Matthew's a biblical name, but it doesn't mean that the reason why you were named it was because of biblical reasons.
Yeah, but it has wild biblical reasons behind it if you know that's why they chose the name Matthew. If the parents are religious and then you hear a name like Matthew or John or Luke, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I get it. Just because you Southerners don't go to church.
No.
You have no
brains.
cornerstone of morals.
Because we have brains.
Is Lucy.
Are you ready, John? You ready? John, thank you for 20 more gifted memberships.
Cool. Oh, did you like my washing machine one, John?
So he needs another one.
Do you want a tumble dryer one? Thank you. Yes, the name Lucy is associated with the Bible through Saint Lucia, a Christian martyr and saint. Thank you.
So, that's not. You've proved fuck all there.
No, I've proved that Lucy is a biblical reference
No, you've
name.
proved that the name Lucy is in the Bible. That's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with why you're called it necessarily.
I'm sorry. Were you there at my birth?
Well,
No.
I mean, neither were you able to comprehend what's going on at that point.
Were you there at my christening? No.
John, thank you for 10 more as well. That's 30 more from John. Where's the fucking hope?
No, it's not biblical, it's the female alternative to the Latin name Lucius, I believe, knowing very little Latin that is.
Well, that's egg on your face, Kai. 'Cause
John
Google.
specifically asked for a hand cream one.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I like this. The orders. You're ordering your host.
She likes being ordered, chat. I'm in for a night tonight.
A hand cream hope.
Yeah.
I
HCH.
hope for you, John, that the next time you travel, your hand cream doesn't explode all over your suitcase and the contents in it, and you are completely unawares because it's not your carry-on luggage. That's the suitcase that's in the, what's it called? The hold.
Yeah, the hold, yeah.
And you don't find out till you get to your hotel.
That's what the one he wanted to do. It was nothing to do with you jerking off the hand cream on the kitchen side.
Oh. Yeah. I'm not above saving £4.
£4.
Yeah.
Why did Mummy and Daddy keep fighting? We're not fighting. I'm just disproving. That's not fighting. The church being the cornerstone of morals is questionable.
Yes, I know.
Let's put it this way. There's a reason why my small child boys aren't going into church. Is loose short term for Lucifer. Wasn't
be.
Lucifer the name of the devil as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't do the thing, did we? We forgot to do the thing.
What thing?
Thank you so much for the 30 gifted, John. So close to the target. So close. It's just 7 away. David also have references to royalty. I mean, you could link any name to anything nowadays, couldn't you, to be fair?
Why did your mum and dad name you Liam?
Because I like the name.
Yeah? They just like the name. There's no, like, family member that they adored and they wanted to... Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was just like the name. Good. So is the reason why we picked our names.
Well, James's middle name is your name.
Yeah, because my middle name's my dad's name.
Yeah. And then Ben's name is Benjamin Thomas because of one of my great-grandfathers.
Yeah. But Ben and James is because we like the names. No other reason. And not every name has to have a secret meaning behind it. I liked James, I like Ben. I like the fact they're one-syllable names as well. It's much easier in the playground. James! Ben! Get over it! It's much easier in the playground. It's much easier.
Yeah, put that dog poo down.
You know you've got gloves on. The one thing I do like about Ben's most, because James is just James, right? The thing that I like about Ben's is when he's been really naughty, you go, Benjamin! Like that. You can't do that with James. He's only got a shortened version of his name.
He's going to come down in a minute, yeah?
Also need your town of birth and pet's name. I'm glad you said that, High Lord of Terror. Luce had no fucking idea at all that on social media those things were basically fishing for password information.
Okay, so I was born in the town of Go Fuck Yourself, and my password
Literally the name
is...
of Coventry.
And my password is... Password, because that's, you know, the most unbreakable one.
Dave goes, oh shit, my middle
Ever.
name is Andrew. Like the Prince, apparently. We're just going to make random references to names now, so...
Right, I think I'm all caught up now with gifteds.
Yeah.
I was nearly called Daniel. What's wrong with Daniel?
Both Ben and James are biblical names. But they are, but they're not. They may be biblical names, but that's not what we called them then.
Saint Lucius struck down the first of the Nephilim. Lucy is not a biblical name. Lucius is, but the female version of Lucas is Lucy.
Kai, I asked Google. Take it up with Google. That's not me, that's just Google.
If you
it's on
ask
the internet,
Google,
therefore it happened.
If you ask Google if the world is flat, it will come back with some references that tell you this is his.
Really?
You have to dig, but it will come back with answers
Oh,
that say it is.
if we have to dig, then that's not what you've just said, is it?
But the point of the matter is, Google will give you that answer.
Oh dear, the first search is the world ending? Oh God.
Well...
Is the world going to end in 2025? Oh dear.
Let's hope.
What rabbit hole have you put me in? Is the world running out of helium?
If the world dies in 2025, don't worry, we'll live stream it. We'll all do it together, chat. It'll be fine. Have we decided to agree that players... Hang on, here we go. We've got 156 people in the chat right now. Let's poll it right now. Are the players... polled? What's Garsty saying? He just... I was nearly called Daniel, he says.
Yeah.
And then he says, I'm just definitely not a Daniel, if that makes sense. No. Don't have a middle name. My middle name is Trevor.
Do you mean that you don't look like a Daniel?
Because that's my dad's name, Trevor.
You know how some people look like their names?
I've never got that. I've never got that. When people go, oh, you look like a Stephanie. Fuck off. Not a chance. Not a chance. It's just because you know that's their name. Not the player per se, but certain people. Yeah, I agree, guys. But you get my point there, right? You get my point. Are we keeping you up, dear?
Yeah.
That's a monumental yawn. We're only 7 gifted away from target.
I don't think I slept very well last night. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Shit myself of you. I actually slept fucking heavy last night, I'll be honest.
I might have a banana tea because I need to sleep. I've had a pounding. I've realised my headache, I think it's from yesterday at the swimming baths.
I actually...
Swimming pool.
Oh, do you know what you haven't done today, actually? Which is too late now, but you haven't done any of your hobby.
No, I didn't want to.
You look like a Stephanie Liv. Thanks, mate. Wait, is this one of the other channels? LT Demps? Yeah, LT Demps, which we were using as Lieutenant Demps, right? But it's because T is actually my middle name, which is Trevor. Yeah, so you didn't want to. I get that, but I slept so well last night, like so well, and I'm 100% certain it's because I had floaty brain. I'll explain in a second. But I'm 100% certain because I had floaty brain, and that's why I slept so well. And I woke up today. When I woke up today and got up, I actually felt rested. Like, for the first time in forever, I felt properly rested. Not like I've just slept loads. I felt like I feel good today. And I think it's because cup empty, floaty brain, all those phrases that we use, right? Neil, thank you for the 5 gifted. What a legend. What a fucking hero. What a hero.
And now I'm suffering, so I'm yawning.
So I felt like I had a real decent rest. And my middle name is Carter. With my first name of Lee, I lurched from chav to sophisticated all in one name. Amazing. Yeah, so I for the first time in forever, yesterday I spent the majority of my day hobbying. So we started the stream at 1:30. Yeah, so I sat in the airbrush booth at about 11:30. I airbrushed for about an hour and 15-20 minutes. I scheduled the stream. I came in here, and then at 1:30 I went live. So I streamed till 9:30, so 8 hours plus on that. I did about 9 hours hobbying yesterday, and when I got to bed, I was just like stress-free. And I was able to sit here after stream, and it's quite rare I do this, but I was able to sit here after stream and look at the main model that I painted yesterday and be like, I'm actually very proud of it. So like your skirt or your sock or whatever, I was
just the one sock.
Just the one sock, actually. How many attempts?
I've lost count now. I think we're on to like 10.
Plus 3, so 13. So I was like, I'm actually quite pleased with what I've achieved with this. I think I'm really proud of it. And so I went to bed just kind of de-stressed. And I think that's why I had such a good night's sleep. And I wonder if you haven't done any hobby for a while now.
It's all right, because I got a new knitting needle today.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
So this one has... Paddy looked so confused on Spearhead weekend. He thought I had some kind of breathing tube in between the two needles because I was that enthusiastic about knitting. So this one's got a much longer circular bit in the middle.
Yeah, the rope needle thing.
Yes. The rope needle.
But they're bigger ones, aren't they? The ones that are attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it means then there shouldn't be any tension either end now. And this is it now, chat. This will be the attempt that I get 2 socks out of.
So people are asking, what's floaty brain?
Floaty brain for us is when you've hobbied and you've kind of saturated your whole brain in your hobby. So you've not been interrupted for parent duties. You've not been interrupted because someone rang the doorbell. You've just been left to it. And you could, if you want to, take the clock off the wall. You don't need to know the time because you're just doing it. And then it's when you've accomplished your project and you take a step back and it's that awesome pride, self-accomplishment of, I did it. And have you ever noticed, chat, that on days like that you sleep so well because you're just on cloud 9?
Yeah, floaty brain is a phrase that Luce and I have come up with. It's not, it's not a medical term. It's not from Theme Hospital. It's one that we came up with, which is basically where you've managed to just swamp your brain with everything positive, and your brain's floating on a sea of positive.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right, that's what we came up with, and so. So sometimes Luce will message me if I'm out or working or whatever, or vice versa, and it'll be like floaty brain, and I'm like, cool, she's in a good mood. I can go home and take the body armor off. But joking aside, though, it's our easiest way of going. I've had a really good, fulfilling, happy day.
It's
ended
wholesome.
Positively.
Yeah, it's like there was no immediate feedback from this project. It took time, it took investment, and I had to see it through. And now I can reap what I've sown I have a finished thing. I've done a thing.
See, Alex says, "Oh, I had floaty brain last night after 4.5 hours hobbying and losing track of time. Felt so relaxed afterwards."
That's exactly
that.
it, yeah.
100% that.
Here is hoping that one day you have a great hall/hobby house invite-only event schedule, which has filtered out those who are literal cunts.
He said it! Brian says all the words. Thanks, guys. I'm pretty keen on a fucking ban list, to be honest with you, but I don't know if it's good for business. We'll see. Chat, we're 2 away from target, by the way. 5 more gifted from 1 person will be there. 2 away. 2 away. Okay, if I was going to rename myself, okay, there you go, chat. Here's something for you to talk about. If you were going to rename yourself, Luce, you don't like Lucy. You can't use Luce because it's a derivative of Lucy. If you were going to rename yourself, what would you call yourself?
Okay, floaty brain. Yes, I get that when I am sat on the can and feel a job well done.
What's left? What you've left of that toilet?
Whatever does it for you, Kai. Whatever does it.
What's left of that toilet, Kai, is probably your brain. Bobbing about.
Do you know what? Kai's daughter's name, Autumn.
No, you can't steal his porn star name.
I would never steal a porn star's name, darling. She's earned that. But when you hear creative names like that...
Creative? He's just named her after a season.
But I feel like these kinds of names are relatively modern. Yes, it's a season, but the names now are far more creative than maybe...
Edward705, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. You absolute legend. That means now we're just 7 away. Just 7 away.
Something like Autumn or...
You've become one of those problem players with this new goal scam. He then puts, "I'm not angry, just ...
Disappointed.
Aww, love you, Nick. You too can help us hit our goal, Nick. Right now.
What would you name yourself if you could choose your own name?
If I could call myself anything, what would I name myself? That's a difficult one, actually. Because I have so many influences now. I'm 37 years old, from like my favourite literature, like Lord of the Rings and 40k and stuff like that. Interesting. High Lord of Terror Jr. is my son's name.
Love days like that. Hyperfixation mode is activated. You zone out and achieve all of your goals, and the ADHD gremlin stay quiet.
Yeah, that was yesterday for me. It's today as well, actually. I should have done some other things. I know I should have done some other things, and there'll be 5% of me niggling here that will say, you should have done these other things, you should have done these other things, you should have done these other things. But 95% of me is, yeah, but I posted on Instagram. If you haven't seen it, I posted on Instagram. Look what I've achieved.
Do you know what's important for me? To let hyperfocus come to its natural end. Interrupting a hyperfocus, instant rage, and then you can't rage at anyone because they genuinely need you. That's why they've interrupted you. But it's almost like being woken up versus waking up.
Yes. I don't know. Kind of. I think I kind of agree with you. So sometimes my hyperfocus today on painting my Eldrad, not Eldrad. And I came to a point where I wasn't ready to stop, but I needed to make dinner. And I think that because I had something else that I needed to do that I knew I needed all day, it wasn't like sprung upon me. So I looked at the time and I was like, if I pick the brush up again now, dinner's going to be late. So I put the brush away, put my lid on, and I forced myself to stop the hyperfocus. But because I had to go make dinner and then clean up and then get ready for stream, I don't feel like I was woken up rather than naturally awoke. Despite the fact I kind of forced to stop. But you are right. There are times when, I think if I was so conversely, if I was sat here and like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I was quite happily sat here painting away, and you came in and said, I need you to stop and do this thing, then I would feel like I've been woken up rather than...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like my hyperfocus today came to a natural end, but I was expecting the end.
Yeah.
So I think there is a grey area, to be fair. But
When I had my week off and I was doing my denim skirt, each day that I came away from the sewing machine, that was my choice.
yeah,
And I felt
I'm done now.
much happier to walk away for the day and go back to it tomorrow versus looking up and going, oh, I really should go to bed now because I'm going to pay for this in the morning. So it's nice to have the freedom to let a task come to a natural pause or a natural conclusion, to step away for my reasons and not because I'm needed.
Yeah,
in like,
you've chosen
yeah.
to stop. You don't want to be finished, but you've chosen to stop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess I kind of chose to stop today because I looked at the time and was like, I need to do dinner, but I could have carried on. I could have, because of how powerful my hyperfocus can be at times, I could have carried on. So I stopped at I think I stopped at 4:45ish, if I remember rightly, when I put the oven on, 10 to 5.
Yeah, I think so.
I could have carried on through that time. I could, knowing my hyperfocus, still be sat here painting now, having not eaten dinner. I'd have just kept going. And the kids would be wading around in their own shit in the living room, you know.
They're not.
Like
They
farm
are
animals.
toilet trained.
Right. So I could have just sat here, carried on painting, but I kind of had to stop because I could have just kept doing it until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I would have gone, oh, I'm tired and hungry. This is a problem.
I'm all the things all at once.
Then you eat, and you're like, I've eaten far too late now and I have to go to bed. Then you lay down on a full stomach, and then no floaty brain.
Do you struggle to get to sleep if you want to be tinkering with your project?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Well, yes and no. So today I don't think I'll struggle because I've
Okay.
achieved tons today.
Yeah.
So I'll go to bed going, I've achieved loads rather than I should have done this. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So because I said to myself, my dad came over this morning, and I said to myself, once my dad's gone home, I'm going to paint until dinner time, which was roughly 12:30ish till 5 o'clock-ish. Mm-hmm. If I'd have done that, 4.5 hours of painting time, and I nearly did this as well. This is actually interesting because this nearly happened to me today. So if I'd have sat down at my desk at 12:30, I'm going to paint today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some painting. I've said I'm going to paint. So everyone, yes, I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint today. I put my computer on. I put on YouTube. I put on one of my favourite streamers, right? And I sat here and I started doom scrolling on Insta Reels. I started reading Twitter. I didn't do that for very long because that's a shit show today. And I started watching Fix on YouTube. And then I was like, I lost about 15 minutes immediately. And I was like, whoa, here we go. This is a social media trap, which I hope you all fall into for us. This is a social media trap. And so I was like, I had to literally put my phone over this side of the desk out the way so it wasn't in front of me.
Yeah.
I turned the volume right down on YouTube, right down, and I sat here and I painted. And I forced myself out of doing that. Now, if I hadn't have done that, if I'd have got to 5 o'clock and I've barely touched my miniatures with a paintbrush, I'd have done a little bit here and there, but I'd have continued on the doom scrolling, I'd have continued on the reels, I'd have kept watching Fix, I'd have found myself, because the way my ADHD is, doing other little bits and bobs and not doing any painting. At that point, I'd have gone to bed tonight and I'd be like, I've had 5 hours painting and I've done nothing.
Yeah.
Then I would be annoyed.
Yeah.
And it's not a positive I can go and tinker my project, it's I'm annoyed I haven't done this and I should have done more kind of tinker my project. Because I've done 5 hours worth of painting and I've actually made significant progress on a single miniature at least, and I've shared it in the things and I put it on Instagram, I actually think I'll go to bed and I'll be like, well, I want to do this and I want to do this, but I find it easy to go to sleep because I actually achieved a bunch. Well, it wasn't a wasted 5 hours; it was a well spent 5 hours of painting. So I don't think I ever go to bed positive about how much I've done, but also keeping myself awake by thinking I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. I don't think I've ever had that. I don't think I've ever had that. If that's what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I've done that. I think it's one or the other. I think it's I'm pissed off that I've wasted my time and I can't sleep, or I've done good work, I sleep quite well because I feel achieved. I think that's the two I have.
So would you say that you always sort of strive to achieve something because you don't want to feel...
I hate wasted time.
Yeah, James has this fixation.
We had
as
a
well.
we had a good conversation with Kai recently about time. Time is the most precious thing in the world. You can't buy more of it, really. I mean, you kind of can. You can hire people to do things for you, which frees up your time. but you're not getting extra time. You've got the same amount of time. You don't suddenly go to a 25-hour day by hiring someone to do your work for you. You just free up some of your time, but you still have finite time. And everybody wants time. Everybody wants your time. Everybody needs your time. Everything needs your time. Every task needs your time. Time is like the most precious resource we have, and yet we often waste it. And things like social media, like Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, prey on the fact they want you to waste your time flicking through this bullshit.
Wasn't there a thing that said if you're not looking for a product on the internet, you are the product?
Yes. That was on Social Dilemma.
Yeah, something like that.
It was on Social Dilemma, yeah. And I want to start in the future making YouTube Reels again. But what we did before we made YouTube Reels was we made narrative reels. So although we're preying on people wasting their time doom scrolling, we're not putting up a bullshit 60-second reel, which is just trying to hold you for a whole 60 seconds. We were trying to put up stuff that was narratively interesting. So you're kind of learning something at the same time. So if you watch the majority of our reels on the channel, you will learn something about the narrative in Warhammer 40k. So we don't just have someone in a bikini jumping up and down on the spot for 60 seconds, which completely wastes your time. We're actually trying to tell you a piece of narrative on a reel. Now, ours aren't necessarily, for most men at least, as enticing to watch for the whole 60 seconds as what I've just mentioned. But I don't like the idea that I've wasted someone's time with my 60 seconds. I like the idea that someone's got some value out of it. But yeah, time is the most precious resource in the world. And I feel like my evening, when I go to bed, I feel like my nighttime, how well I sleep, is directly related to whether I've wasted my time or if I've achieved something.
Yeah.
And I think if I've achieved something, and that achieving something doesn't have to be painting a model. It can be progressing something work-related, doing my accounts, sending emails, responding to emails, building new relationships, looking at new business opportunities. It could be painting models. It could even be playing games because I'm like, I've just floaty brain. I've enjoyed that. I feel like that's well spent time.
Yeah.
If I get to the end of the day and I've gone, what the fuck have I achieved today? And the answer is nothing. I will be What's frustrating at that point is I'll be irritated. And I won't sleep so well. And I get up the next day more tired, which means I'm likely to achieve less because I'm tired. And it becomes a vicious circle.
Yeah, and then you don't want to touch your hobby because you're tired.
Because you're in a bad mood.
And you're going to mess it up.
Yeah. So, interesting. Sadly, I can't last 60 seconds on the bouncy shot. What about someone in a bikini jumping up and down telling law? I can ask him, but I don't think Joe will put it on. Time is the most precious commodity. I'm paranoid about wasting it. 100% Kai. Absolutely. Wargunner's still trying to be sniped, chat. Still trying to be sniped. I've watched him put snipe me in, exclamation mark snipe me in for fucking weeks now. Help him, team. Help him.
Oh, Mikey's resonates with me. Hyperfocus is a gift, but ADHD shutdown is a real struggle. I ran out of spoons the other day and just laid on the sofa for 90 minutes looking at the ceiling. Didn't even notice the time pass.
Not noticing the time pass is one of the biggest indicators for me for shutdown.
Yeah.
And when you go, what the fuck, that's not the time.
Yeah.
And it is.
How many of you in chat have ADHD and your eyes kind of do this depth perception thing and it's almost out of your hands? It's almost like your brain's sponging because you've not made time for your brain to sponge. Your brain is going to force the time, so the depth perception thing happens. That's another great saying as well. If you don't make time... How does it go? It's something like, if you don't make time for health, then... Oh, let me find it because I won't do it justice. It's a really good little saying, and I always keep it in mind of... if I feel like I'm getting a bit of a cold, to not just power through, to sort of take notice and think, I'm currently ill, even though not that much, I am ill, so I'm not powering through.
Tyler, thank you for the one gifted. Mortyhammer, thank you for the one gifted. But either of you got Mr. the Wargunner yet? Well, if it was Kate Upton in a bikini jumping up and down telling law for 60 seconds, I wouldn't last either. Fair. Yeah. We'll do it with Joe instead.
I'll ask him, but...
Do you mean the thing where your eyes unfocus?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I really have that.
And I when it happens to me, it's almost like I don't have control over it. And now I feel like it's my brain going, you haven't made time for the sponge today. I'm forcing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but it's helped me kind of have a moment of grounding of, oh, I guess I have had a busy day, and it has been a bit full on. I've had to regulate the boys several times today.
I think modern day human beings, majoritively most modern day human beings have a form of ADHD. And a lot of people I'm talking to or talk about say, I've realised I've got ADHD. I'm like, I bet every single person, if you looked at the traits that are considered to be ADHD based traits, and you can do this on Google, if you got them listed in front of you, the majority of you would be able to pick certain traits and they'll be like, yeah, I do that, yeah, I do that, yeah, I do that. I guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee it. Yeah. You're allowed to do nothing. We live in a culture that makes us feel like we have failed if we haven't materially achieved something. So, Lee, you're right. 100% you're right. And I agree with you. But achieving something doesn't necessarily mean having to do something. So, I put time aside, rarely, not as much as I should, and chat will tell me off for this, not as much as I should, but I put time aside as chill time. So it might be a couple of hours sat here playing Battlefield or whatever, or sit and put my feet up on the sofa. We have Saturday evenings where we sit and just watch TV. We don't really do anything, really. I put time aside for chill time. I would suggest that doing nothing in that time, however, I'm still achieving something, because I'm achieving resting.
Yeah, that's
right?
important.
So, which is a valuable part of existing is being able to rest. I don't do it as much as I should or as much as I'd like, but I do in fact put aside time for resting, which is essentially doing nothing, or doing nothing productive, I should say. But it is productive because I'm resting. Do you know what I mean? So I agree with you. You're right, and I think that sometimes people are sort of feel very guilty for doing kind of nothing and just resting. I'm like, you need to rest. You're a human being. You're not a machine. You have to rest.
I wonder, do we now have maybe like two brands of ADHD? One that's kind of always been there and we're now more kind about it and more compassionate about it, and now one that's environmental because our world is now triggering things in us that weren't there before.
I think you're probably right.
How much of our attention is being pulled in several directions, so we don't have good attention spans anymore.
Yeah, I think so.
There's no genetic predisposition to neurodiversity, but we have the symptoms.
I think things like autism and ADHD are compounded and not exacerbated. What's the word I'm looking for? It's wider because of the environments we live in nowadays.
Yeah. So sorry, chat. A bunch of you are going, oh my god, I think I have ADHD. I'm not. It's not like you definitely do. It's just a paediatrician told me. The eyes.
We're not doctors, by the way.
No. We're not.
Spoiler alert.
No, we're not.
Spoiler alert. We're not doctors.
The eye and focusing thing. She said when my boys zone out, not to worry because it's a brain sponge thing, and because your brain flips images and that's how the optical nerve happens. It was a very, very strong link that the depth perception thing was the brain sponge moment in line with ADHD because the brain is processing.
I also theorise, right, based on no scientific research or study and no medical profession or background, okay, so pinch of salt here, but I've always theorised that I don't think autism and ADHD is how do I word this? I don't want to offend anyone here, but specifically high functioning, I don't think autism and ADHD is a abnormal condition. This is again theory, okay? Just bear with me. I think that actually the majority of what we now call ADHD and autism is called being a human. I don't think it's not normal. I think it's perfectly normal. I think everyone experiences parts of it. And if we talked about a lot of the quantifying or qualifying factors that therefore label us with these labels, ADHD and autism, specifically high functioning, I think most people would sit there and go, oh yeah, I do that. Oh yeah, I have those moments. Oh yeah, I feel like that sometimes. Well, I think like that. Like majority of people would. And I actually don't think it's a condition necessarily. I think it's being a human that has a name, that has extra names to explain these extra behaviours. I think what happened is society years ago that's misbehaving, that's naughty, that's struggling to concentrate, that's not conforming, and people were punished for it. And I think that it's perfectly human, but people were conditioned in a certain way and people were punished for it. And I think that society has now grown and we have realised we shouldn't be punishing that because that's a behaviour that a person can't necessarily help. And it's kind of natural to them. Well, I think it's natural to everyone. And so we then have become more allowing and accepting of these behaviours. And the more allowing and accepting of these behaviours that we've become, more people have stepped forward and gone, actually, I feel like this and I behave like this and I have these issues. And then more people have gone, I do that too.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, by kind of association, people are going, I also have those problems. I was talking to a friend recently who was like recently diagnosed ADHD, and it's like, it's been such an unlocking tool.
Yeah.
This person's like older than I am. And I'm like, yup, 100%. Absolutely.
I feel like I'm in a very privileged position to have the boys because I've got one who's very comfortable talking about any tics or traits or whatever, and I can ask him, why are you doing that right now? It's fine, but is there something I can help with that are you stimming because there's something going on that I can help take away for you? And he'll come out with it. And then I've got one that has never masked. He didn't need to. He's never been to school. So I get all the unadulterated behaviours and all of that. In a way, I'm gutted that we did send James to school because by now I'd have an 11-year-old that doesn't mask at all, hopefully. But he did, so he does.
Yeah.
And then I have the 7-year-old that I don't want to tell him that it's unusual or that it's a unique position to be in because I know that will start to censor his behaviour. Yes, we all need to mask because we all need a professional version and a private version of ourselves.
This is the other thing as well. I genuinely believe that a degree of masking is essentially being able to control essentially your impulses or your feeling and behaving in a certain circumstance. I think is key to being an adult and existing in society. It just is. I think it's key. And that's not necessarily, like, masking is the name that we use for it, but essentially it's called coexisting with other people. That's what it is, essentially. That's something that, but there's extreme levels of, and someone said recently, someone said in the chat, society literally told people to mask or they get the stick in school. Which it did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think there's balances to be struck that sit somewhere in the middle, but it's I know that I've said this, I spoke about this so many times on stream before. I know that my own journey where I've discovered the way I am and what some of it means and where some of it comes from has helped me significantly. Yesterday I literally leaned into the hyperfocus. I used it on purpose to get done what I got done yesterday.
Yeah.
And knowing that hyperfocus exists and knowing when I feel it coming on, sometimes I can stop it in advance and sometimes I can just go for it because it's a valuable thing to do or valuable thing to use has been a powerful tool. People understanding it about me, my ADHD often means I'll read a WhatsApp message from someone and I'll think, I'll reply to them in a bit. I'm busy now, I can't do it now, but I'll reply to them in a bit. And then I'll think about that and I'll think about that and I'll forget. And a lot of people nowadays just don't get offended by it now because they're like, it's not personal. He's just forgotten.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not going Reddit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't do that with anyone really.
Me figuring out who around me, they've either come out with it and said they are diagnosed, or that they've said they have very strong suspicions because the rest of their gene pool is diagnosed. They just didn't get round to it themselves, or their offspring is diagnosed, but they're from a generation that you don't label. That's fine. Me figuring that out has helped me deal with their bad tempers, where I can go, that's anxiety talking right now, because anxiety and fear look like anger.
Yeah.
It's not at me.
You just can't say that out loud to them.
No, you can't. So instead, I'm going to match that energy, not necessarily shout in their face as well, but match it as I'm going to create my tone of voice that isn't necessarily as compassionate as I would give somebody who's not shouting at me, but we will get there.
Yeah.
We will get to a calm, compassionate tone. Often
you can't say to them, well, that's the anxiety speaking, because that'll just make it fucking worse.
Oh, that's like, calm down.
It's incredibly condescending, right? Absolutely. Anywho, have you got your fact ready?
No.
Oh, dear. It's 21 o'clock PM in the evening.
Oh, I'm so sorry, chat. But it has helped me.
But to be fair, you haven't got your fact ready because it's been an interesting discussion, right?
But when I see anxiety or fear sound like anger, it does help me go, this has nothing to do with me. Although they're saying it to me, it has nothing to do with me, because I'm going to ask about their day in a minute, and I bet you there's going to be something else in their day.
Do you think anything that we talk about in this regards has anything to do with the type of players we were talking about at the start of the episode?
I thought you meant football then.
No. We're talking about players in 40k at the start of the episode that can't help but break the game as hard as they possibly can.
Right.
Do you think that that's in itself potentially have some slight links to things like ADHD or autism? A hyper focus on winning, perhaps, or
Yeah,
an
maybe.
autistic trait that means you have to find the most broken combination. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud now. To be fair, I haven't really given this any real thought, so I might be talking out my arse. But
there's a school of thought that autistic people really struggle with empathy, so they might not be able to read the other player. That's not been my case. Literally every autistic person I know is very sensitive.
I just thought
the empathy
I just thought
doesn't
it was an
ring
interesting
true.
question, because we often tumble down the rabbit hole of talking about these things, and often thankfully you lot typically can be quite complimentary when we have these kind of open, frank conversations in front of the world, in front of the internet. I say the world, there's 150 people, but still, we have these open and frank conversations, and I like to think that bearing my own experiences out there for the world to see, Luce and I talking about our experiences and just being very open and honest about our experiences, which a lot of people won't do for fear of shame or embarrassment. I like to think that by speaking about them, people go, oh, I do that too, it's actually normal. And perhaps that lifts a little bit of the stigma or the embarrassment that exists for some people. I like to think that that's the case anyway, and I might be wrong, but I often feel like by being very open and honest about any kind of experiences or feelings, it might help someone somewhere. You all know that we're very, very pro mental health. We do a lot of work trying to help people out and trying to be that kind of open, welcoming community. I just wondered. I thought, thinking about it now, because we did tumble down that rabbit hole, and based on where we started with this particular episode, I wondered if there was perhaps a link there, and it might be the case. And it might be that actually, when I walk to a table, thinking about this now out loud, literally spitballing as I go, it might be the case in future that I might walk up to a table against that guy, and I might be like, I actually have slight more empathy for you, because perhaps this is not entirely just you being a dick. This is just the way you're conditioned, and this is the way you think.
We're also the sum of our parts, so everything that got us to be the adult we are today, we're constantly carrying around with us. So if we were, let's go for a real sort of Hollywood script right now, if we were the kid that was always picked on, but we're really good at Warhammer, we need to be great at Warhammer.
Interesting. Okay.
And at any cost. So, and you might be stood there as maybe a 45-year-old, but that is one of the sum of your parts.
Yeah.
Because you've held on to that title for so long, there's no way you're going to let pesky rules get in the way of you losing.
Kai says, when you have testicles as small as mine, you kind of get over being embarrassed quite easily. Is this building over and over an ADHD thing? I wonder. I don't know. There's probably a ton of stuff.
Probably, because you might get bored.
There's probably a ton of stuff that could be attributed to it. My army switching that's been happening has been an ADHD thing that for once, I just let go. So I went through a phase of wanting to switch armies and forcing myself to stick on one army and not letting my ADHD go. And what I would end up doing is making zero progress on anything at all. I wouldn't be doing hobby. I wouldn't be building anything. I wouldn't be painting anything. I wouldn't be doing a hobby at all. Right? The last 6 months plus, I've just let it go. Oh, I want to switch to Dark Angels, build some Dark Angels. Oh, now I want to switch to World Eaters, build some World Eaters. And I do projects in chunks now. And although I haven't got an army finished in 6 months to a year, the progress on all of my main factions has become huge. I've built so many models. To the point now where I'm getting to the point where there's not much left to build anymore. And now I'm onto the painting chunks. And so I'm now I now feel my hyperfocus take me on this faction, and I'm letting it run. And will it get to the end? I hope so. Will it do it though? I don't know. I hope it does. But if I then get to a point where I feel like I'm forcing it, what I will do is I'll go into ADHD shutdown with my hobby, and I won't do anything at all. Because I'm forcing it at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm just interested about how much these types of players that have to find the broken combinations, have to win all time, have to really push people, have these kind of same underlying. I don't want to use the word issues, but you know what I mean. I'd be interested if there was some relation there, but maybe not. Anywho, it is 9:05. We normally finish at 9 o'clock, which means it's time for loose fact. We're only 5 gifted away from target, chat. Just 5 away, with a loose fact coming. So I'm sure one of you or 5 of you can find it in your heart to help us hit our target as we get ready for the favourite part of the night. The reason why all 150 people wait to the end. Loose fact.
Mount Everest could fit inside the Mariana Trench.
Who? Who's Mariana Trench?
Are you joking?
What's the Mariana Trench?
The deepest part of the ocean. Well, we can't get down there. It's so deep.
Mount Everest could fit inside it.
Inside. If you turned Mount Everest upside down.
Yeah, I fully believe that.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't know about the Mariana Trench.
I'd heard of it. I don't know what it was. Thank you, S and Jane, for the one gifted. Yeah, that sounds perfectly believable. It sounds perfectly believable that the deepest part of our oceans are deeper than our tallest mountains. That's not a very good one.
I think that's amazing.
I mean, it's amazing, but I don't think it's a very good one.
ADHD makes being a 40k opponent really hard. When they are telling me they hit on 4s but now 3s because of X and back to 4s because of Y but now sustained 2 because of Z, I'm like, cool story bro, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, Matty, I 100% believe that. Thanks for this, very man. You're a legend. And thank you, Big Bad Pig Game, for the one gifted membership. You're a hero. You're a legend. 3 to go, chat. We're nearly there. The only reason why I'm able to follow what the fuck happens in that circumstance is because part of my autistic brain is mad for maths, right? Which is the start. And secondly, it's because I play so often that I can't just follow what most things do nowadays. But for the majority of casual players, I understand how that can be an absolute mess. An absolute mess. Thank you, Hubris, for the one gifted membership. We're going to do it, chat. We're going to do it. 2 to go, chat. We're going to do it. Yeah, and I think that often in 10th edition or 40k in general nowadays, there is a degree of, I believe you. I believe what you're saying. Okay, cool. I believe you. Because I think it'd be too hard to try and learn everybody else's rules along with your own. To be fair, I still wonder what NASA found in the oceans would make them. Nope, we need to go to space. Did that happen? Is that what happened? The deepest point is the Challenger deep, and we have visited it. Is it? It's the deepest part we know of. Most of the ocean floor is unmapped. Oh, there you go. Will, thank you for the one gifted. Oh my god. We're nearly there. We're nearly there, chat. Thank you for the one gifted, Will. 1 to go. 1 to go. I wish hyperfocus would be turned on at will. I'm trying at the moment, Eptro, personally, I'm trying to learn how to control it a bit better. Not always successfully. And I don't think I will always be able to do it successfully, but I'm currently trying to learn how to control it a little bit better. And I think I'm getting there. Morning Hammer! We did it. We hit the target that was definitely the target all along.
I've just quickly Googled the eye thing with ADHD and cross-referenced it twice.
Okay.
So it's looking like it's because of an overwhelm of trying to metabolize the environment around you. So the brain sponge thing. So the pediatrician was right.
Deep Fry, thank you for the one gifted. Near Will, thank you for the one gifted. Come on, team.
Have you taken me off Tannoy?
Yeah, you're off Tannoy, yeah.
I thought I sounded a bit supermarket-y.
No, this is supermarket-y.
Clean up on aisle 2.
Why did you do like a weird American accent for it?
Did I?
Yeah.
Clean up on aisle 2.
What's that?
That's not American.
That's weird. That's not you.
That's not American.
It's not you, though. Everyone, thank you so much. We hit 122 gifted. Of the 120 target was definitely the target from the start.
I'm glad I cross-referenced that because I was seeing about 6 people go, ah! I'm like, no, not a doctor. I'm just saying what I was told.
Interesting fact, you're saying Everest wrong. it was pronounced Everest. The Welsh guy who first got to the summit, who it's named for, was George Everest. No one cares. Welsh guy, no one cares. Right.
That's cool.
Thank you, you wonderful human beings, for the amazing support tonight as always. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the interaction. Thank you for the engagement. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes. Thank you just for being legends and hanging out with us and streaming again. Tomorrow, Joe's back. I know you've all missed him, and that's the real reason you're waiting around. Joe's back tomorrow at 13:30 for the Liam and Joe show, which will be in the studio in our comfy chairs. And then tomorrow night's a live game of 40k. Currently, I'm playing Brom and Joe's producing because he was originally down to play Brom and he said, I don't want to. Please don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. Please don't make me do it. So Joe is producing tomorrow night for me to play Brom because he doesn't play 40k.
So you're going to be home late?
Brom's bringing orcs, yeah.
Oh, you're going to be home well late.
Yeah, it's all right, though. Friday's just an aviation museum, isn't it? So, be right. And the gym session on Friday is leg day, which officially and legally is the one day you can skip.
What's this?
Friday's gym session.
Oh, because it's leg day.
It's leg day, yeah. Officially, legally, because Rambo's probably not in the chat anymore, is the session you can skip.
Do you need to do leg day?
No, I walk around. That's exercise,
yeah,
isn't it?
like that's surely.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for all the super chats and donations. Thank you for all the likes, and thank you for all the gifted memberships. You fucking heroes. Big shout out to John for the FIDI members yet again. You amazing human beings. I love you all very, very dearly. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. If you have, please make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment on the video after the fact because that really fucking helps the algorithm. Like, really fucking helps the algorithm. But thank you for hanging out with us. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow for the Liam and Joe show at 13:30. If not, we'll see you in the next one.